Welcome to windy Vaughan, Ontario, the Ontario Soccer Centre. Toronto FC2 taking on the East-leading Charleston Battery. It is Young Reds Day here at OSC, and a familiar face in town, Skylar Thomas, former defender and TFC2 captain. Hello everyone, welcome inside. I'm Matt Tanner, joined by Terry Dunfield. Toronto looking to snap a 3-game losing streak here this afternoon, and they will be in tough as the #1 team in the Eastern Conference is here today. We saw the former central defender for Toronto FC2. Let's focus on the current central defender, and that's Mitch Tanner.
Yeah, a real important piece for Jason Ben's team, the captain of the team as well, a real versatile defender. He can play anywhere across the back line. He loves to get stuck in. He's an athletic defender. He organizes players. He's really vocal. He's also a threat on set pieces going forward.
Skylar Thomas, the 24-year-old former first-round pick of TFC.
Yeah, he'll relish playing against his old club, coming back top of the league. And when you play against your old club, you always want to prove a point, show the manager, Jason Ben, that maybe he made a mistake. Also, like Mitch Tanner, he's a threat on set pieces, a real big presence at the back. Having said all that, Jason Ben will know his weaknesses and will try to expose them at times.
Here is the lineup that Jason Bent will use to try and expose him and the Charleston Battery. Malik Johnson and Sean Hundle up front. Angelo Cavaluzzo draws back in goal. And for the visiting Charleston Battery, it's Odisnell Cooper in net. No Romario Williams. He leads the team with 14 goals. More on that in a bit. Atula Guerra and Ricky Garbanzo will be the attacking tandem up front for the Charleston Battery. Great day for football, a little bit windy, but otherwise perfect conditions. We'll have kickoff and more when we return to the Ontario Soccer Centre. Toronto FC2 taking on the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Charleston Battery, a rematch of the only other meeting this season back in June when the Young Reds were defeated 6-1. Jason Bent will look to have his side reverse that here today, his 3rd season as manager of Toronto FC2. On the other side of the coin, it's Mike Anhauser leading the Charleston Battery to a 10-4-7 record thus far this season, Terry.
Yes, a former player for the Charleston Battery, played for 5 years between 1994 and 98, 115 appearances in total, just scoring 2 goals from midfield. From there, he went on to assist the team for 5 seasons. In 2005, he became the head coach. 2008, he was given the GM role as well, and in 2013, he was inducted into the USL Hall of Fame.
As we see Toronto taking their team photo, Let's touch on Sean Hundle a little bit. Has been limited this year, not quite as much action as we saw last year. He's had a bit of an injury, but a good feather in his cap last week when he was named to the list of the USL top 20 under 20, was number 4 on that list.
And rightly so. I think that was more on the back of last season. He played a ton of football as just a 16-year-old. This year it's been a little bit start-stop for him. As you mentioned, Matt, he's picked up injuries, but when he's fully fit, he's a real handful. Came through the academy. He's got it all, really, as a center forward. He's able to run in behind. He holds the ball up, and he's able to bring others into play. Just needs to become a little bit more clinical in front of goal.
Liam Fraser also on that list for TFC at number 15. Let's talk a little bit about the bench of the Charleston Battery today and some significant omissions to the lineup. They will be without, as mentioned, Romario Williams leads the team in 14 goals. O'Brien Woodbine, Jeffrey Otu, and Michael Chang, all with visa issues, not able to make the trip. So none of those 4 will be on the bench. It's a bit of a short bench for Anheuser. He has backup keeper Alex Timbakis, Jared Van Schiak, Hyvel Cordovez, Nicholas Rittmeyer, and Ryan Arambula.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Matt Williams is a huge loss. Since he's been away at the Gold Cup, he played 37 minutes last week in a 0-0 draw with Orlando. Charleston's form hasn't been great. They haven't won in 5. They've drawn 3 with 2 losses, albeit, though, the 2 losses against Tampa Bay away and St. Louis, 2 very good teams. And one of the draws against draw specialist Orlando, who've drawn 6 of their last 9 games.
Mentioned that, yeah, Derry, no wins in their last 5 games as we are underway. They still remain in first place in the Eastern Conference, but their grip on that spot has become tenuous. They have 21 games played, and the 2 teams chasing them, Charlotte has 19, Louisville has 18. Charlotte just 1 point back, Louisville 2 points back. Charlotte will be here on Wednesday night at BMO Field taking on Toronto FC2. So the Young Reds will have something to say about the race for first place in the USL's Eastern Conference. There's Malik Johnson. Plays in, looking to find Subasa Endo, and he was just not able to connect.
Endo's lots of first-team experience. He's down getting some minutes with TFC2 again. So far this season, when he's dropped down, he's been very good. He's playing an attacking midfield role. Great spot he picked up there, a little outside to in run. A little bit more quality from Malik Johnson he would have been in.
And we'll expect him to take most of the set pieces here this afternoon. No Luca Uccello available to Jason Bent. He is not available with an injury.
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier in the week. He should be out probably for another 2-3 weeks. An issue with his arch in his foot.
Crossed in, Fraser is there to beat it. As mentioned off the top, quite windy. The wind is actually blowing directly at us from that corner down to our right on the far side of the screen. So a southeasterly wind here this afternoon, which will make things very difficult. Toronto will have the wind at their backs for this first half, but it's also cutting across the field, so not really too much of an advantage moving down the field at this point, as it's more, I believe it's coming more across the field than it is down the field. This free kick goes right into the wind, difficult to control. Comes down for Anunga. He is playing on a yellow card accumulation warning. His next yellow card will result in a suspension. So Anunga again, trying to play it out to Skylar Thomas. We saw him play a lot of center back. He is playing the right back position.
Yeah, good spot, Matt. He played in the center of a back 3 for Jason Bent, or in the center of a back 4 today. A little bit unorthodox for him playing on the right side of a back 4. He's found it difficult to get into the team. He only made 11 appearances for Charleston. I think this is a matchup that Telford should like and really enjoy. Any opportunity to really get at Skylar Thomas in open field, he needs to take that on and also really close Skylar Thomas down.
One of those 11 appearances was as a substitute back on June 24th in South Carolina when the Battery were victorious by a score of 6-1. Goal scorers that day, Romario Williams had 2, Forrest Lasso had 1, Dante Marini had 2, Justin Portillo had the other for the hosts. So four out of these 6 goals not in the lineup or available to Mike Anheuser today.
Yes, that was a tough game for Jason Bent and his young Reds team. a game that we've learned a ton from. It was a real hot day. It was over 100 degrees. TFC sat back and really invited Charleston onto them and looked to hit them on the counter, and it didn't quite work out today. I spoke to Jason Bent before the game, and he said he's really going to try to get after this Charles team, press them high, and really attack them. And TFC were a little bit loose on set pieces that day. At the time, they were going man for man with their marking. Since that game on the 24th, they've moved to a zonal system. We've already seen it there. Bosco clearing a header. So from that day, they've moved forward with the new zonal system as well.
And Charleston has won just one time since that win. And Mitch Tanner looks like he has collected a bit of a knock, trying to walk it off on that right foot.
Yeah, it comes into Mitch Tanner here. He just beats number 7, Garbanzo, to the ball. Garbanzo just leaves one in on him there. A little bit of a sore one. Not how you want to start a game off, but he's a warrior. He really is. He's almost an old-fashioned type defender. Really leads by example.
Charleston, as mentioned, 10-4-7 in first place. Playing just 500 on the road, however. 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws. 13 goals for, 13 goals against. Offside flag is up.
Yeah, it was a good run from Hundle. Just ran into the space and ran into the channel there, Matt. Created a little bit of space for Telfer, 1v1 against Skylar Thomas there. Telfer needs to take that invitation, go inside, try to take Skylar Thomas on.
Toronto on the flip side, just 1 win in their last 5 games. That was the 1-0 victory over Ottawa here on July 8th, with Luca Uccello scoring what ended up being the goal of the week in the USL. Since then, they have not scored in 3 consecutive losses at New York, at Rochester, and at Ottawa.
I spoke to the assistant coach, Chris Posniak, actually just before kickoff, and I asked him what the week's training's been like. Has it been old school, and have they run them and really got stuck into the group, or has the training been light and they tried to get a smile and a little bit of confidence back into their face, back into the play? And he said it was the second option. They really tried to take some of the pressure off of the team, go out there, start enjoying your football, build your confidence, and hopefully we'll see that play its dividends today.
Here's Endo, Johnson. Toronto's really not been able to
There's another one right there.
Crack that Charleston midfield and defense. Not a lot of room to operate, as you might expect from a team that sits at the top of the table.
Yeah, it's a very good team defensively. And then obviously with the threat of Williams up front, who we've said's not playing today, it's a very good team. Williams on loan from Atlanta, but I'm sure the coaching staff will be very happy at TFC too to see him not on the team sheet. An incredible 14 goals in just 16 appearances. I'm surprised initially he was on the books of the Montreal Impact, that the Impact let him go. Had a very good Gold Cup for Jamaica. Scored to help Jamaica get all the way to the final.
Yeah, I was going to say, Canadian soccer fans might recognize the name as he scored the winner in the 2-1 quarterfinal victory against Canada.
Thanks for bringing that up, Matt.
Why, Matt? You weren't playing.
Born and bred, even though with my kind of Chippo accent.
Chip there from Johnson trying to find Telfer.
Yeah, a couple times TFC2 have got Malik Johnson the ball in some very good areas, and his decision making hasn't been quite right. He's coming back to the ball very square. He needs to come to the ball side on, have that little bit of awareness around him. Just then the defender dropped off him. He could have turned with it.
Win.
Thomas throws it.
Aiden Daniels, another player. You see him there closing down Skylar Thomas. He's had to be a little bit patient to get into the team, and in recent weeks, I think he's come in and he's brought a lot of energy to that midfield, a little bit of tenacity and bite, and that'll definitely be needed today against the league leaders of the East.
That ball gets caught up in the wind. Telfer plays for Johnson. Johnson has Endo with him. Johnson will take it himself, and he strikes it wide.
That's better from Malik Johnson. He really attacked the back four with a little bit of authority. Endo's movement was good. He just drifted out wide, created a little bit of space for Malik Johnson to come into. Gets his shot off. I'd like to see him really hit the target there, but good positive play from Malik Johnson.
Telfer able to get around Thomas. Chased down there by Hackshaw and wins the free kick.
Here we see Hackshot just giving Skylar Thomas a little bit of cover, comes back. As soon as Telfer feels the contact, he goes over. Definitely a foul. It's going to be difficult for both sides in these windy conditions to try to put together too many passes. When it's like this, the second balls become very important. Players like Liam Frazier in the middle of the park, Aiden Daniels picking up second balls. So important in windy conditions like this. You might not see the sexiest bit of football, but you need to be extremely professional and take a few risks.
Endo. Not sure if that's where he intended that free kick to end up. Frazier plays it into a bit of space. Endo not able to run onto it. And it's taken instead by Quentin Griffith. I should mention our referee this afternoon is Chris Grabus. The assistant, the linesman on the near side is Peter Penley. The assistant on the far side is Stephanie Fortin. And the fourth official is Armando Pereira. Vaskovic, Telfer, and Thomas come together again. Telfer maintains control into the middle of the pitch. There's Johnson. Frazier. Frazier hammers that off his teammate. Dunn steps up smartly. Endo. McCreary. Hundle trying to chip forward for Endo. Just out of his reach, and it's out for a goal kick.
You see there TFC having a little bit more joy, just keeping the ball on the floor. So also when it's windy, the last thing you want to do is put the ball in the air. Liam Frazier doesn't need to hit that diagonal. There was enough players where the team could have intricately moved the ball across the pitch.
Foul here called on Ataula Guerra by the referee's assistant. There's Julian Dunn. Just 17 years old, Julian Dunn.
Big difference there. Player he's marking, Guerra, 29-year-old, 40 caps for Trinidad and Tobago. Wonderful test for Dunn. He's come into the side, played 2 or 3 games, but been pretty consistent. Another academy product. Canadian Youth International. Club's got high hopes for him.
And his development has allowed Jason Bent to move Mitch Tanner into that center back of that back three. We saw a lot of Brandon Aubrey in that spot earlier in the year, and Aubrey's been almost relegated to a bench role at this point, with him and Dunn sort of alternating, and Tainter being the versatile one along the back line. And Boskovic has gotten a lot of that work on the left side in place of injured Jelani Peters, who they were hoping to get a lot out of.
Yeah, Peters has looked very good since coming up from Trinidad. Coney, he's suspended. That's a big part of football, at whatever level, just waiting for and being patient for that opportunity. But when that opportunity comes, that you make sure you take it with both hands, no matter how old you are. And a lot of managers have the philosophy that if you play well, you keep that jersey. And Jason Bent's no different. I think Mitch Tanner's form and leadership and his little bit of athleticism is what's keeping Aubrey out of the team. And it's not nice, but Aubrey's got to be professional, wait for his chance, and when he does get it, he makes sure he stays in that team.
Daniels for Boskovic. Tainter. Dunn. Frazier. It's Endo. Now Frazier again. Lofted up for McCreary. Easily handled by Quentin Griffith. And played smartly up the left side. Charleston mounting their first attack of the afternoon. Referee waves clean play.
A couple of good defensive plays, one from Griffith and then from Dunn.
Daniels plays it for Telfer. Telfer will have to run onto it as it goes a little bit long. He's able to save it for Daniels. Daniels sees Boscovich creeping down, frees it up for his defender. Daniels again. Frazier into some open space for McCreary. Endo.
Good quick feet from Endo there. Just sucks Patillo in. Once he's sucked in, goes over, earns a free kick. Quite interesting from the Charleston Battery in the first half. They've almost relinquished that, you know what, we're going to see this half through. They're sitting extremely deep in their 2 blocks of 4, struggling to get out a little bit, looking to hit TFC 2 on the counter, almost like they're trying to get through this half to then try to attack them with the wind at their back in the second half. Putting little pressure on TFC 2's back line when out of possession.
Endo lost it forward. Tanner not able to get to it. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Endo. Daniels. Telfer. Telfer lets one fly, and it's over the goal.
Not a bad effort at all from Telfer there. As soon as it comes to him, you can tell by his body shape, he's thinking one thing: get the ball out of your feet, take a good touch. Once you take that good touch, he's only thinking about shooting. Gets it out of his feet, just can't quite keep it down with the wind behind him. Generates so much power with a real short back lift, a real powerful player, Telfer.
Frazier, done. Pressure comes from Garbanzo. It's played over to McCreary, now Endo.
Definitely a way better start for TFC2 than in the previous game against Ottawa. They couldn't put 3 or 4 passes together in the first half here. They're doing really well to play out of that initial pressure, which then is allowing them to have a little bit of time on the ball. Charleston drops back into their 4s, but once they're in their 4s, Matt, it's really important that TFC keeps moving that ball quickly, trying to shift the 2 banks of 4 all over, trying to get players like Endo on the ball in the pocket or Malik Johnson dropping back.
Saw a yellow card shown there to Garbanzo. So he took down Tsubasa Endo. Referee ruled the advantage on the play. Then had to go back and issue the booking.
I like that from the ref. Grab us, let the boys play, let it carry on, then go back. Give the yellow card out for the late foul.
See if we can get another look at the situation.
Garbanzo working hard from the front, trying to put some pressure on Endo there, and just leaves his leg in. A little bit cynical.
Terry, I know you're excited for the TFC match in DC tonight as MLS rolls out the VAR system officially across the league.
Yeah, really looking forward to explaining that to everyone. So how it works, I'll give it a bash now. Any potential clear errors or a serious missed incident in format-changing situations, red cards, penalties, goals, or mistaken identity.
There's an opportunity. Skylar Thomas chips it over the goal. Skylar Thomas, who scored the first ever goal for TFC2 at this stadium 2 seasons ago, nearly scores as an opponent.
We spoke about it in our pregame show. Skylar Thomas is a real threat off of set pieces. It's a great ball knocked in by Portillo. Just gets over top of Mitch Tanner. Mitch Tanner just uses his body to put him off a little bit. If Skylar Thomas is a little bit stronger, can hold Tanner off, he's got a great scoring opportunity against his ex-club.
And it may have actually been against Charleston that he scored that goal. My memory is failing me right now, but
I think you're right. Yeah,
it was an 89th minute goal. A late winner. It was the only goal of the match. Toronto won 1-0. It was their first ever victory here at Ontario Soccer Center. Referee Grabus didn't like what he saw inside the penalty area on that corner, which was the first of the afternoon for either side.
So just going back to video review.
I'll let you finish your spiel. I know you got to practice.
Red cards, penalties, goals, and mistaken identity. Those will be the things that are looked at if a serious missed incident takes place. Where it's a little bit tricky is anything that's a little bit subjective and you can have an opinion on. So if you and I might see it differently, then all of a sudden, we have a little bit of a problem. So those are the decisions that are a bit tricky. And like Michael Bradley said in an interview a couple days ago, I too am a little bit of a traditionalist. I don't like to see the game change unbelievably, though not to sit on the fence. You need to use technology if you can, and as long as it's black and white, then use it. But I think that's where it should be used.
And that's the tough part, is where to draw the line of where, you know, certain plays that it's so close, maybe you don't need to use the technology. But that's what every sport that has introduced video replay has gone through. We see it in hockey, in the NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, who was really the first one to use it significantly. And you do hear the griping from the fans on when it's so tight, but it's sort of the price you pay when you need to be able to use it to review those ones that are very blatant, and you just struggle where to draw the line of which ones should be reviewed and which shouldn't. Unfortunately, you got to review the ball to make sure that you can catch those ones that are blatantly off.
Yeah, good point. And important touch there from Mitch Tanner. The last thing you want is fans and players, if they score a goal, is to be hesitant. Oh, can I go celebrate? Can I go jump into the crowd? Because is that goal going to be called back?
Well, see, soccer is the only sport where that's a problem.
Though a little bit in NFL, if you score a touchdown.
A little bit, yes.
And then all of a sudden you're looking up at the big jumbotron or monitor, waiting for the two hands to come up.
I would love to see that in baseball. Jose Bautista hits a big home run, and then after he rounds the bases, jumps into the stands.
Is that before or after he throws his bat? My sports knowledge is getting better, isn't it?
What's that?
My sports knowledge is getting better, isn't it?
Yes. Just over 20 minutes played here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. No score. Toronto FC 2 in the Charleston Battery. Robert Boscovich whistled there.
It's been a little bit scrappy, to be honest, and I think partly due to the conditions. It really is windy. As soon as that ball goes up in the air, it really gives the defenders an opportunity to go and win that ball. It's difficult to bring under control. Lots of motivation for this young TFC2 team, playing at BMO on Saturday, coming up against Charlotte.
Wednesday
coming up, and that's where you want to be playing against the top of the league team here, coming off 3 defeats. If I'm out there in a red shirt, I'm motivated. Not only do I want to show Jason Bent and his staff that I can be counted upon, and when things aren't going well, you really do need leaders. I know it's a young team, but this is where you can really step up and show what you're made out of.
That'll be the second game at BMO Field this season. It was not originally scheduled to be at BMO. Was switched over a couple of weeks ago. And the third will come later in the season against New York. They've played one game already this year. Back on May 13th, it was a 1-0 loss to Bethlehem.
Needs to get a little bit closer to the former Cameroon Youth International, Anunga.
This will be a Toronto throw as they rule last touch off of Nabil Hakshaw.
You can see the play developing there. He just needs to flow onto him, and that ends that attack.
Hakshaw for Anunga. Griffith. Sun starts to poke its way out through the clouds. Thomas. Telfer trying to win it away from Anunga, unable to do so. There's Hackshaw. All the way across for Griffith. Griffith with a lot of space to work with. Closed down by Endo. Will play in for Portillo. Back out for Griffith. There's Hackshaw. That shot blocked by Tanner off the right foot of Ricky Garbanzo. Telfer for Hundo. Really the first time Sean Hundo has been involved at all here this afternoon. I think that might be the first time we mentioned him since kickoff.
Yeah, the TFC2 have struggled to get the ball into him with any quality. He's working his socks off. He's working the channels, trying to get involved. Just before that, it was a great little layoff from Hackshaw into Garbanzo's path. Good block by the TFC defense.
Referee plays advantage! And it's just over the goal from Atala Guerra.
Wonderful technique from Guerra. Picks the ball up here in a little bit of space. You see it come to him, and then he just bends it around. I think it's Mitch Tanner. He just uses his body to try to feel it into that top corner of Cavalluzzo's. Just goes over top of the bar. You can see it just dipping down into the wind.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Telfer draws the whistle there.
Yeah, I don't think Telfer did a whole bunch wrong there. I think Gravis gets that one wrong. Skylar Thomas just overran it a little bit.
Daniels takes a tumble, and it'll be a whistle on Nabil Hackshaw.
And there's your makeup call.
I don't suppose the referee would ever admit that to the guys on the pitch. Hey, I pooched that last one, so let's just call it even.
I don't know what's worse, the word pooched or the makeup call. Sorry.
Telling me you've never used it?
Pooched?
Yeah. Throw-in awarded to Charleston here.
Both teams now, Matt, just really playing to the conditions, playing really safe. Neither team. Charleston haven't won in 5. TFC2 haven't won in 3. Really taking few risks, trying to play their way through. Aiden Daniels then needed to be a little bit braver there. His body shape was right. He checked his shoulder. He took the easier option, tried to go to Telfer. There's a little sexy ball around the corner to Malik Johnson on there. Malik Johnson had taken up a great spot in between the back line and the midfield.
Cavalluzzo hasn't been busy. Neither really has Otis Nell Cooper.
One on. Man on.
There's Mueller. Plays back for Cooper. Up for Thomas. Volleyed forward, met by Frazier. Boscovich. Back for Tanner. Plays through for Cavalluzzo.
Good composed play there from Boscovich. A lot of young defenders in that situation might have panicked. Keeps his head, keeps his cool, just keeps the team in possession, goes back to Mitch Tanner. Unfortunately, the ball goes forward. If TFC go back to front too quickly without any quality, it's a real big back four, real experienced back four of the Charleston Battery. I don't think they're going to have a ton of joy. Need to keep passing the ball as they were doing earlier in the game.
Nunga. Thomas. There's Hackshaw. Little interplay there with Guerra. Not able to get that Freed up back for a teammate or a good shot on goal.
Yeah, that's the sort of service Hundel's been getting so far. Not the best from Telfer. Telfer's better than that. If it's not on, there's got to be other options. Hundel's taking 2-3 players into the channel. Maybe look for Malik Johnson or go square to Aiden Daniels. I like the looks of Hackshaw, the right-sided player for Charleston Battery. Real powerful player. Not all left foot. Looks to cut inside on that left foot. Comfortable holding players off. Maybe just lacks that real burst of pace.
Thomas. Gara. Thomas and Telfer come together. And it's out for a corner.
Former TFC man does quite well there, Matt. Plays a couple of 1-2s, moves his team up the pitch, earns the corner, as you said. When these two teams met June 24th, 2 of the goals TFC 2 conceded were off corner kicks, as we already said. That'll be in the back of the mind of this young Reds team. Portillo's delivery is very, very good.
Portillo scored in stoppage time of the second half. That first meeting.
Yeah, it was a wonderful free kick right from the edge of the box.
That's cleared by Dunn. And everybody had been played back into the Toronto penalty area. So this will just roll down the pitch.
Yeah, see the way Skylar Thomas is just taking his time to get to the ball. For the Charleston Battery and coach and Hauser, it wouldn't be the end of the world to get to halftime 0-0 and then have the wind at their back. The onus really is on this young Reds team to really press forward and take the game.
Just over a half hour has been played.
I like that from Grabbis. I hate when players do that. Try to just bank it off a player, try to get another player booked. Well played, referee.
Forward looking for Johnson, but it falls right to Cooper.
Johnson has to gamble there, a true center forward. I'm not saying he's not a center forward. He sniffs that out. He's waiting for the ball to fall from him rather than gambling. It was a wonderful ball from McCreary. A lot of the play's been down this side. Finally comes out to the right-hand side. He puts an early ball into the box. Malik Johnson really gambles there. I think that's a wonderful opportunity. Beautiful, nice one.
Headed forward by Dunn. Portillo, near side Thomas. Hackshaw. Garbanzo. Given away to Frazier, nearly intercepted there by Higashi. And now is Endo. Johnson. Johnson still with it. Plays out for McCreary.
Johnson.
Frazier. Hundo, or excuse me, Endo may have got a foot to it. He did. It'll be a goal. Might have been a touch by Endo.
Yeah, probably the two best moves here we see from TFC2. Here's the first one. Great early ball in from McCreary. This is the one Malik Johnson doesn't gamble on. Goes straight to the keeper, Cooper. And here we're going to see the second opportunity. Wonderful ball whipped in. Brilliant ball from Liam Fraser in the middle of the park. Endo just can't quite get there. Good deep run from midfield.
Telfer wins that battle. Gets it to Johnson. Johnson plays in for Endo, but it's taken away by Mueller. Cooper lofts it forward. Gara moves it away from Boskovic. And now Portillo. Thomas. Haksha. Garbanzo. Working against Boskovic. Boskovic, a little bit of a shove in the back, but some smart defending. It looks like the referee never even considered it.
No chance, no chance. Maybe a little bit of contact, and that's why he's not booked for simulation, but he goes over way too easy, Garbanzo. Always looking for the penalty. Having said all that, Matt, it's important that Boskovic just stays on his feet. You don't need to lunge in. I don't like to see players looking for penalties like that. Garbanzo's a player that the assistant coach, Chris Pozniak, will know well. Previously played for KW United in the PDL. Went undrafted in the 2015 MLS draft and then joined his hometown club, Charleston, in 2015.
Mitch Tanner spilled to the turf by Guerra and wins the free kick.
It was actually a really good ball in behind that looked like it was going to cause TFC a couple of problems. No need for Guerra to put an arm on Mitch Tanner. Almost lets TFC 2 off the hook.
The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting USLsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL.
Looked like that might have been a red throw.
Dunn overplays that for Tanner. It'll be another throw for the Battery. Boskovic plays up looking for Hundle, but once again taken by Thomas instead. And here's Anunga trying to play to himself around Telfer, a little heavy on the touch, out for a Toronto throw.
I know it's difficult when you've just lost 3 games to try to play your way out of the back, but when you've got that extra player in midfield, that's where TFC's advantage is. Boskovic has got to try to keep that ball on the ground, try to play through midfield. If you keep going back to front that quick, with this such a big back four, it's going to be difficult for Hundle or Malik Johnson to get into the game. TFC 2 have looked at their best when they've got Malik Johnson on the ball in that pocket. Those decision-making's not been great so far. I think he'll probably looks like he might be the difference maker for TFC 2 so far.
Miscommunication between Johnson and McCrary on that last opportunity for Toronto. Now an opportunity here for TFC 2. And given away.
I can see what McCurry's trying to do there. He's trying to pick up the tempo, get the team going there, but in the end it wasn't quite on. He forces a horrible throw into Malik Johnson. In the end it goes off his hand, and now all of a sudden TFC have lost possession. That's where a little bit of experience is needed. Older head, just take your time. You finally got into Charleston's half.
There's an opportunity for Haksha, right at Cavalluzzo. Toronto quickly counters. Frazier for Endo. Endo plays in for Johnson. Johnson works his way into the area, loses possession. Now frees up for Hundle. Hundle still with it. Hundle not able to get it away. It looked like Malik Johnson had carried it out behind the end line. Managed to keep it in, freed up for Hundle, and Hundle couldn't pull the trigger.
Incredible scenes. Both teams' best opportunities.
Here's Boskovic.
That's better from Bosco. Finds a pass, keeps the team in possession. Good movement from Endo. See where the space is, he just pulls off.
Daniels. Boscovich.
It looked like Malik Johnson was going to run that into the field behind the goal. Does so well to keep that into play. And we touched on it earlier on in the show, talking about Hundle. Just needs to add that little bit of cutting edge, that finish to his game, and what a great opportunity. Maybe a little bit surprised that it comes to his left foot. Just gets stuck under his feet on this real sticky turf.
Daniels, Frazier. Great ball played in behind for McCreary. A little bit too much on it, looking for Hundle in the middle. Oh, if that's maybe a foot lower.
Yeah, he does so well. What a great move. McCreary's already on the move. He's one step ahead of the play. He knows the ball's going to go into Liam Frazier. Liam Frazier's got the vision, sees the pass, plays it in behind a static back four. Wonderful move. McCreary just needs to slide it along the ground. Sean Hundle made a great run to the near post, as you said, Matt, just a little bit too high.
Well, the pace certainly picking up in the last 10 minutes of this opening half.
The pace and the quality, too. You're seeing both teams put a couple of passes together.
Hackshaw has that wrestled away by Frazier, freed up for Endo. Endo back for Frazier. Long ball, finds Hundle on the left side. He has Telfer trailing. Hundle looking to take on Mueller. Leaves there for Telfer. And Mueller got a touch to it. And Cooper prevents it from going out for a corner. Let's take a look. Rewind a few minutes, and here's Nabil Hackshaw.
What a brilliant first touch here from Hackshaw. Sets himself up perfectly on his wand of the left foot. Hits it right at Cavaluto. He has to do better here. Here we see Malik Johnson streaking down the right-hand side. You think he's overrun it, just keeps it in play. Comes back to Hundle. Surprised a little bit, can't sort his feet out. Hits it into the Charleston Battery center half. Hackshaw will be having a second look at that. He's got to be disappointed with it. What a wonderful first touch. It was a difficult ball into him by Garbanzo. Almost takes it with the outside of his left foot, puts it right into his path.
Free kick taken quickly by Frazier, looking to catch them off guard. Hundle! That looked like it took a deflection. And the referee is awarding a goal kick. That looked like it took a deflection off the defender and should be a corner.
We'll take another look at it. Another great ball from Liam Frazier into Sean Hundle. He just snatches at it a little bit, hits it into the turf, goes out for a goal kick. That's 3 balls on the bounce from Liam Frazier. One to the right-hand side to a streaky Malik Johnson. Another one out here to the left-hand side. And then that quick free kick. Good quick thinking from Liam Frazier. That's the difference, that little bit of quality. TFC2 working that ball into midfield and then finding their outlets.
Otis No Cooper getting some medical attention here. Perhaps most likely took one of those pebbles of the turf into his eye when he was diving to his right, or perhaps an issue with the contact. Let's get one more look at that chance from Sean Hundle.
Yeah, it all comes off that quick free kick. Just looking at Cooper here.
If it doesn't touch the defender, I think it maybe touches the hand of Cooper. And either way should be a corner. Maybe I'm wrong, Terry?
Possibly. I'm not sure where the injury is. Just looking at Cooper there. Doesn't seem like. I'm not sure where the contact came. Maybe it's a previous injury, just opened up on the. It's not the most forgiving turf here at the Ontario Soccer Centre.
Dark clouds have rolled in. Doesn't look like rain, but it has brought with it perhaps some even stronger wind, as that goal kick played right out for a Toronto throw. According to the weather reports I was reading ahead of the game, winds at 39 kilometers an hour, gusts of 48 kilometers an hour, 24 miles an hour. Cavaluto whiffs on that.
Yeah, not the best kick, but good dominant goalkeeping from him. Comes out, takes charge of the situation. Wonderful little dummy there from the number 25, Higashi. We've not seen a lot of the young Japanese, I say young, I think he's 27 or 28 from the Japanese player. He's had a very good season so far from Charleston Battery. Didn't look offside to me there. He's a threat. He's very good at that, coming in off the left-hand side. Came in the offseason, earned himself a contract with the Charleston Battery, came in on trial, played a lot of football for them this season. It's not been easy for Cavalluzzo or Mark Tays in the goal. Neither of them really been made the dominant number one. They'll play maybe 2 or 3 games, and then the next keeper comes in, just rotating the keeper. I know the first team situation has an effect, knockdown effect for TFC2, but as a goalkeeper, you want to play consistently.
Looked like Guerra whiffed on that as the pass came from Higashi. Hackshaw pushes forward. Portillo. Higashi. There's a good run. Cavalluzzo with a save straight on. Second opportunity cleared by McCreary.
Huge save from Cavalluzzo. Gets his angle spot on. What a great move from Charleston Battery. Timing of the move was excellent.
I believe that was Quentin Griffith, the left back, who came in and had that wonderful opportunity. 1 minute of added time has been announced.
Minimum of 1 minute of added time to the first half.
Geez, for the neutral, you won't want this half to end. Good play by Charleston. The weight on the pass from Higashi was perfect. Timing of the run from Griffith on the overlap couldn't have been better. Cavalluzzo gets his angles spot on, stands up, makes himself big. Real important save just before halftime. All comes from some poor service from Boskovic out of the back. Just needs to roll it into the feet of Malik Johnson. Malik Johnson can't hold it up, and all of a sudden, Charleston Battery very slick and quick in transition.
There's Frazier. Plays long for Johnson. Offside flag is up.
A little bit of a tight one. Liam Frazier in the middle of the park, just holding his hand up. Needs to get that ball into Malik Johnson just a touch quicker.
There's the halftime whistle. It's a scoreless opening 45, but the quality of the play really picked up in that final 10 minutes.
It really did. Very good. I think both managers will be happy. I think the quality picked up because the passing was a little bit better. That both teams started to get the ball down on the floor and try to play it in behind with a little bit of quality. There's definitely willing runners on both sides. Both teams just lack that final bit of quality in the box.
A slow start to the game, perhaps because of the windy conditions that we've talked about throughout the broadcast, but an uptick in the action in the last 10 minutes. No goals, however. Some good chances. We'll recap them all and take a look at the first half stats when we return to the Ontario Soccer Centre. No score, Toronto FC 2 and the Charleston Battery. Scoreless at the half from the Ontario Soccer Centre. Toronto and the Charleston Battery both looking to end lengthy winless streaks, but neither have scored through the opening 45. Matt Antonio, Terry Dunfield back here with you. It was, we talked about it, a bit of a slow start. He picked up a little bit towards the end, and a lot of that had to do with Malik Johnson, who was maybe Toronto's most dynamic player in that opening half.
Yeah, it was a little bit hit and miss with him. I think the conditions had a little bit to do with it. Both teams took a little bit of time to really get going and get the ball under control, and both teams come into the game a little bit short of confidence, but once both teams started to play, I think the tempo picked up and the quality did as well. For me, I think Malik Johnson, he'll be the difference maker for TFC2. He picked the ball up in some great pockets. Sometimes decision-making wasn't quite right, but as the game wore on, he started to really get to grips with it. I think Sean Hundel's doing a wonderful job up top, running in behind, creating that little bit of space for Malik Johnson to play.
Let's take a look at the highlights from that opening 45. As we mentioned, no goals, but some good opportunities that we saw as the half went on. Here's Malik Johnson.
Yeah, here we see him picking up in the pocket, in between the two lines of defense and attack, gets his shot off, can't quite hit the target. I think this is an area that Jason Bennett will be looking to expose. Well, that 1v1 situation between Telfer and the ex-Red Skylar Thomas. Here we see Telfer, the ball comes across him. He's got one thought in his mind, get that ball out of your feet, have a rip, just can't quite test Cooper in the net. Endo's been a little bit quiet, he's been in and out of the game, but whenever he's been on the ball, he's been absolutely different class. You can see his quality at times. Portillo's delivery from set pieces has been excellent, as it's been all season. Skylar Thomas, as we said in the pregame show, is an absolute nuisance on attacking set pieces. Here we see a good opportunity from the big man out front, just trying to bend it around Mitch Tanner. I think if that's on target, that could possibly be troubling Cavalut. So wonderful early ball in from McCreary from the right-hand side. We said that during the game, Malik Johnson needs to gamble on it. Malik Johnson does wonderfully well here. You think it's going to run out of play, just keeps it in, cuts it back to Sean Hundel. Hundel cannot get a good enough contact on it with his left foot, just gets stuck under his feet a little bit. I think he thought maybe it'd run out of play. Here we see the best chance of the half for the Charleston Battery. It falls to the big man on the right-hand side half-court. Wonderful first touch, gets it out of his feet, sets himself and can't quite get a shot off. Here we see Sean Hundel just dragging it a little bit with his right foot. Maybe better just try to pass it into that far corner. And the last opportunity to have a wonderful overlap from Griffiths. Cavalucci does a very good job, just making himself big and difficult, gets his angles right after having not played a little bit for TFC2.
What will each team need to do here in the second 45 minutes to come away with some points? You mentioned Charleston will be looking forward to having that wind at their back here.
They will, and I think what's going to be important now is for TFC2 is to be very wary and switched on when they're in possession. That when they do, if the ball is turned over, that the threat of the two up front is already looked after, being a little bit proactive. And then for TFC2 going forward, keep being really quick, slick in transition, try to play through midfield, keep running in behind. I think that Malik Johnson and Sean Hundel have the pace and the beating of the back four of Charleston if they're able to get in behind with that little bit of quality. Keep getting Liam Fraser on the ball as well. Some of his delivery from midfield has been excellent as well.
All right, we'll see what the second half has in store for us. The first half, a few good chances. Ultimately, nothing on the score sheet. Neither keeper really tested too much. The sun is peeking back out. The wind is as strong as ever. Second half coming up next from the Ontario Soccer Centre.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%.
That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
USL fans, it's time to vote. The 5 nominees have been named for USL Player of the Month, recognizing top performers from the month of July. The Charlotte Independents lead the way with 2 nominees, Jorge Herrera and Enzo Martinez. Herrera scored 8 goals and added 2 assists as the Independents went undefeated throughout the month of July. Martinez added 3 goals and 3 assists, helping Charlotte move into 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. Real Monarchs SLC's Chandler Hoffman pushed his way into the USL Golden Boot race, scoring 5 goals throughout the month to go along with 2 assists. FC Cincinnati's GB Fall continues to be dominant. The Senegalese striker recorded 4 goals and 1 assist in the month of July. Rochester goalkeeper Tomas Gomez also had a stellar month, posting a .60 goals against average, behind 3 shutouts and 14 saves across 5 appearances. Voting comes to a close Monday, August 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern, and the winner will be announced Thursday, August 10th. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Social media hub. Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusively news and interactive content. Follow @USL on Twitter to become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow @Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. All USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. On Wednesday, August 9th at 8 p.m. against the Charlotte Independents. Tickets are available for as low as $12. Visit tfc2.ca or call 416-815-5513 to secure your seats today. TFC2, where Reds are made.
Very scary. He was wearing the I had no clue.
He was my coach in Colorado.
Oh, really?
And then he went.
Five games. Let's take a look at some of the work that the young forwards for TFC2 have put in so far in the opening half. Malik Johnson and Sean Hundal. We saw some of these during the halftime. Johnson with that shot that just goes wide, and then another opportunity where he needed to be a little bit more aggressive, and then Johnson is the one creating the opportunity and nearly finds Hundle for a goal. He was not able to get a quality shot away as Hundle looks for his first goal of the 2017 campaign. And then Hundle with another opportunity, thought it might have taken a touch off either the defender or the goalkeeper, Cooper. Tsubasa Endo, he has been strong over the opening 45, and he has been a nice piece for Jason Bent to rely on when he gets to use him. Obviously, has played a lot with the first team, the MLS side this season, but has been very reliable when called upon here at the USL level. As we mentioned, Toronto is in DC tonight for a MLS action, and my broadcast partner Terry Dunfield has been called up to work the TSN broadcast of that game as an in-studio analyst, so you'll see him before the game and in halftime, and as such he has had to leave us, so I will be flying solo for the second half here of this afternoon's game as we look just about ready to go here for the second half action. Do not believe any substitutions have been made on either side. A reminder to those who are relatively new to the USL, 3 substitutions this year, down from 5, which we had seen in prior years. But now it is just 3 to reflect that of the MLS and, of course, the international rules that are used as well. Toronto will be fighting into the wind in this second half, as we mentioned, so it will be a more tenuous task for them. The Charleston Battery, as mentioned, top of the Eastern Conference, but the grip on that spot is holding, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. That's to give you a little bit of the gauge of how windy it is here at Ontario Soccer Centre. Those flags are placed on the far side of the pitch, directly at midfield. You can see them there in the background of your shot. It had been a little bit more diagonal, now maybe a bit more direct. Toronto will be fighting those gusts that, as I mentioned, according to the Weather Network, might be reaching as high as 48 kilometers an hour, and a steady breeze, we'll call it, of 39 kilometers an hour. It's about 20 degrees right now here in Vaughan, just north of Toronto. We are underway here in the second half. Skylar Thomas pushes that forward. Redirection there from Guerra right in the face. It looked like Aiden Daniels. He's all right. Only one booking in that opening half. That was to Ricky Garbanzo in the 17th minute. Here's Hundle. McCrary trying to cross in for Endo. Takes a deflection off of Griffith, and it'll be out for a Toronto corner. That's their first today. They did not have any in that opening 45 minutes, and it takes them just 60 seconds here in the second half to win their first. But unfortunately, they are down. Working against the wind here. What will Endo do? Plays that high into the air, comes for Tanner. Tanner tries to head forward. It's deflected by Forrest Lasso and pushed forward by the Battery. There's Guerra and Lasso. Higashi worked over by fellow countryman Tsubasa Endo. Now Hackshaw. Griffith. Again Hackshaw. Portillo. Backheel flick there coming from Guerra was defended by Frazier. Now Garbanzo lofts it wide. It's a good job by Liam Frazier just at the edge of the penalty area there. It's interrupting the attempted pass from Guerra, trying to find Portillo as Portillo had played it in and then was looking to overlap. There's Hundle. with Johnson. That fails to connect and is taken by Onunga. Here's Higashi. Higashi with some space to work. Plays in. All kinds of time. All he had to do was beat Cavalluzzo. There's a good ball in from Higashi right through the channel to Onunga. He's able to stop on the dime. Dunn falls, and he could not beat Cavalluzzo diving to his left. Tainter. There's Endo. Long high ball played for Telfer. He and Skylar Thomas battle for it. Thomas able to push it forward. Comes to Liam Frazier. Frazier onto the near side for McCrary. Watched there by Griffith. Endo is one touch. Takes a deflection from Onunga. His presence felt here in the second half, as he's had a couple of nice runs that have been disrupted by the Toronto defense. Onunga. O'Gara. It's fired. And Toronto will regain the possession. We anticipated this might happen, but Charleston has looked stronger coming out of halftime. There's from a couple of minutes ago, Telfer making a run against Hackshaw. Or excuse me, that's a play that just transpired a moment ago. There's Dunn. Endo. The second half, Brandon Aubrey, Brian James, Donte Campbell, Sergio Camargo, Ike Andrews, and Ricardo John. As you see, once again, TFC2 player hit the turf. He's helped to his feet by his teammate. Hobbles momentarily, but looks like he'll be all right as well. Pass from Tanner, intercepted by Garbanzo. Dunn with an aggressive challenge there. Thought he might have been whistled, but referee says play on. And nearly a grave miscue from the captain, Mitch Tanner. There's Griffith. Against Dunn, and for Portillo. Portillo still carrying. Portillo chips in. Dunn pushes forward. Endo there to meet it off the boot of Skylar Thomas, and some open space to work with. Endo will push it forward, and it comes down perfectly for Hundo. Hundo with an opportunity. Scores! Sean Hundo! Toronto is on the board! What a magnificent ball played through by Tsubasa Endo, and a marvelous finish from Hundo. It all starts with Endo blocking the shot from Skylar Thomas, runs onto it, and drops this right onto the foot of Hundo. He's being chased down by two defenders, and he slips it past Otis Nell Cooper. His first of the season is the first strike of the game, just out of the reach and just inside that post. And in the 53rd minute, Toronto is on top. And now Toronto improbably has a lead to defend, but they're looking for more. Endo tries to play in for Hundle again, and it's out for a Charleston throw. So Toronto has the opening salvo over the best team in the Eastern Conference, or at least the first place team in the Eastern Conference, I should say. No disrespect meant to the other contenders in the East. As mentioned, they're being chased down by the Charlotte Independents and Louisville City. Charlotte is 1 point back with 2 games in hand. Louisville is 2 points back with 3 games in hand. So the lead on top of the Eastern Conference may not last much longer if the Charleston Battery continue to drop points. And we're going to see the first substitution of the match shortly. Free kick taken by Portillo is knocked away. And the substitution is ready. It is going to be Javiel Cordovez entering for Atala Guerra.
Coming into the match, number 16, Javiel Cordovez. Coming out of the match, number 10, Atala Guerra.
We wonder how much the deficit has to do with this substitution. If Anheuser deciding that now that they're down, this is the opportunity for some fresh legs for Cordovez to possibly make an impact on this game. Let's take one more look at Sean Hundel's opening goal. As Endo able to curl that, and it literally drops right to where Sean Hundel was running. And the defender's not able to chase him down. I have to wonder if Endo was playing that ball specifically into the wind. That's some impressive calculations on the fly. But knowing that it might be held up and that he could place it right to Hundel. How much of it was skill, how much of it was fortune, we're not quite sure. We'll never really know. Regardless, it's a fantastic feed from Endo and a great finish from Hundel as well. Portillo. There's Griffith, watched by Endo. Griffith again. Griffith trying some interplay there with Cordovez, disrupted by Toronto. And here's Malik Johnson running onto an open ball. Johnson works around Mueller. Great save off the right foot of Cooper. Malik Johnson had only Cooper to beat, and he nearly did. But a great right foot save from the Charleston keeper. Cordovez takes a tumble. Cavalluzzo, not sure if he could pick that up right away, or if it would have been a penalty of picking it up off the foot of his teammate. Now he will safely gather it. Here's the opportunity for Malik Johnson moments ago. Patiently holds up and then works around Mueller, and he might have actually been trying to slide it over to Hundel, who was running through. It may have been a dual-purpose ball. If Hundel had got to it, he would have finished it for sure. If he wasn't able to get to it, it may still have been going in anyway. but Cooper was there, got the right foot to it, and probably saves a goal. And what a turn of events that might have been for Toronto to go up 2 on the Battery. McCreary trying to run this down. He does. He's working against Griffith right in the corner. Not able to slip through him. Griffith defends it well. Griffith has been very strong at left back here this afternoon. Delivers that for Cordovas, watched by Julian Dunn. Cordovas, a substitute, trying to work around the 17-year-old. Not able to do so, and it's out for a Toronto throw. Half an hour to go. It's just a little bit over that, about 45 seconds. Then we'll be half an hour to go. Toronto has the lead. A Sean Hundle goal in the 53rd minute has the Young Reds on top. Tainter. Ball played for Hundle. Hundle had 6 goals last season, tied for the team league with Raheem Edwards. Endo. And of course, Edwards parlayed that into a MLS contract. Scored his first MLS goal last week in the 4-0 win over New York City. Here's Daniels. Endo. Frazier. Telfer. Telfer. He takes a tumble. He was going against Skylar Thomas. Malik Johnson was pulled down away from the play. And I think Jason Bent was hollering for a penalty to be called. There's the one-on-one battle, Telfer against Thomas. And I think he just tripped over his own feet there, tripped himself up, lost the ball. Brian James will come in. Aiden Daniels will have his day end after an hour. Brian James, who has played the most minutes out of anybody on TFC2. He is ready for more. This is the first substitution of the afternoon for Toronto. A little bit more experience, James over Daniels. He was a draft pick by Toronto in the MLS Super Draft in 2016, 4th round pick. And he's right into the action, freeing up Telfer. Plays in for Johnson. Johnson maybe looking to cross in here. Again, patiently playing against Mueller. Now plays back for Boscovich. Boscovich and Hackshaw there, and it's Mueller who will clear it into the parking lot, and it's out for a Toronto corner. Nope, plays it low and short, looking to find Hundle. Comes up for James. Here's Endo. Endo looking to play it in again. It's headed away by Hackshaw, and will be another Toronto corner. Endo a little bit farther this time. Played out for another corner. And you'll have to travel the width of the pitch and take this one from the near side.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the Ontario Soccer Center for today's match. Today's
Just announced the attendance, 1,145 in attendance here this afternoon. One of the bigger crowds of the season. And Endo curls this one behind the goal. That one might have been wind assisted. Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, they will air the USL Game of the Week on Sirius XMFC. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Endo runs onto that loose ball, finds McCrary, looking for it back. McCrary trying to deliver it to him. It takes a deflection off the foot of Griffith, out for a throw. Taken quickly, here's Dunn. Here's Cordovas, outruns Julian Dunn, gains possession, now waits for some teammates, finds Higashi. Garbanzo stripped there by Ryan Telfer, complaining for a penalty, does not get one. Ryan Telfer ran him down from behind as Garbanzo was looking to make his move. Let's see if he has a gripe. Oh, maybe. Looked like Telfer got his foot in there to Garbanzo's foot. Not sure if he was inside the area or not. Might have been a free kick from just outside. But I think Garbanzo might have a gripe there, as Telfer did not make any contact with the ball and prevented Garbanzo from continuing his possession. Tainter's header falls to Cordovas. He is surrounded by red jerseys. He plays it out onto the flank for Griffith. Portillo. Anunga. Thomas. Anunga. Run down by Brian James. Plays this for Tainter. Now back out for James. Tainter again. Pressured by Garbanzo. Fakes a clearance. Able to get around Garbanzo. Now will clear it out, but only as far as midfield as Lasso heads forward. Here's Higashi. Watched by Endo. Plays it out onto the wing. Played in looking for Cordovas. Tainter there to head it away. Anunga. This will be a throw to the Battery. Higashi. Anunga. Portillo. Lasso. Long ball for Higashi. He is blocked out by Julian Dunn, and it'll go for a goal kick. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. And it appears that a second substitution will be made by Mike Anhauser. It's Nico Rittmeyer getting ready to come on.
Run him.
Cordovas, defended by Dunn. Dunn does well to make sure that does not go out for a corner. It's instead a throw. And the substitution will be made here. It is Rittmeyer in for Hackshaw.
Substitution for Charleston in the 69th minute. Coming into the match, number 24, Nico Rittmeyer. Subbing out to the match, number 8, Nabil Hackshaw.
Thomas, blade in, Tainter pushes it out, and Garbanzo whistled for the foul there on Tainter. Tainter having a word with referee Grabas. Two substitutions made now by Charleston. 2 remain for Jason Bent. And what substitutions might he make? What tactics and philosophy will he choose as Toronto defends this 1-0 advantage? We have seen at times this year that with a 1-goal lead, he'll choose for more offense, trying to push for that second goal, making the lead easier to defend. We have to balance that against opening yourselves up defensively. We have seen at times Toronto be exposed by that, concede the equalizers. It's played in through the area. Endo frees up for McCrary, gets as far as Anunga. Portillo, played back for Mueller. Thomas. Cavalluzzo read that well, comes out to grab it as Higashi was making a move forward after that loose ball. High into the air, Garbanzo heads forward, Tainter is there to meet it. Griffith comes over to McCrary, he wins it away for Garbanzo. Plays in, Brian James is there to intercept. Here's Malik Johnson with some space. Has Hundle on the right side, but has some open space as well. Johnson trying to get through, was defended well, and now he's holding his right ankle. Malik Johnson still down on the pitch just outside the 18-yard box. Made a powerful run forward, was not able to finish. Now he'll get stretched out by Sean Hundle. So just kind of lost control of it there. And ended up running into the defender, and looked like he did more harm on his own accord than by anybody else. This will turn into an impromptu water break as Johnson gets stretched out. Should a substitute be needed, the most obvious choices to replace the similar skill set that Malik Johnson brings would be Ike Andrews. Ricardo John available as well. Those are the two strikers on the bench for Jason Bent. Let's flash back about 20 minutes now. Sean Hundle opened the scoring, the only goal of the match. But one more look. Nice wide angle here as Endo plops that down to Hundle and could not have finished it any better. Two defenders at his back. I believe it was Lasso and Mueller who were chasing him down. But he was able to fend them off and deposit it into the corner of the goal. We are going to see the substitution here. It does look like Malik Johnson's afternoon is finished. It will be Sergio Camargo, the midfielder, to come on here in the 74th minute.
Substitution for TFC2 in the 74th minute. Coming into the match, number 20, Sergio Camargo. Subbing out in the match, number 56, Malik Johnson.
And that's a little bit tough for Malik Johnson. He was just starting to really make an impact. He had some chances in the first half, was sort of trying to impose his will on this game. Here in the second half, we saw with that powerful run forward. But it looks like some sort of right foot or leg injury. It was unfortunate last year too. He was really rounding into form. Was leading the team in goals, I believe, or maybe tied with Raheem Edwards at the time. Suffered a nasty knee injury and was forced to miss about 2 months.
Substitution for Charleston in the
Third substitution will be made here with 15 minutes to go.
Subbing out of the match, number 6, Skylar Thomas.
Jared Van Schaik coming in for Skylar Thomas. So Skylar Thomas, in a homecoming of sorts, plays 74 minutes. Nearly had a goal in the first half off the set piece, the free kick. He was pushed forward. We saw him score a few goals like that in a red jersey for Toronto FC2, but was not able to score one today for his new club, the Charleston Battery. So all 3 substitutions have been made for Charleston. Van Schaik in for Thomas, Cordovez in for Guerra, Rittmeyer in for Hackshaw. 2 substitutions have been made for Toronto. Camargo in for Johnson, and James in for Daniels. 1 substitution remains for Jason Bent. And 15 minutes remain, plus stoppage time in this match. Toronto holding a 1-0 advantage, looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. They have not won since July 8th, 4 weeks ago to the day, when they beat the Ottawa Fury 1-0 right here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. They had not scored in the 3 games of that losing streak. 1-0 loss at New York, 2-0 at Rochester, 2-0 at Ottawa. But they have a goal today. It's Sean Hundel's first of the year, back in the 53rd minute, has the Young Reds on top. Still available on the bench, Icam Andrews, Ricardo John, Donte Campbell, Brandon Aubrey. I have to imagine Jason Bent will want to use that substitute to get a player with fresh legs into the team, as it will likely be a frantic push from the Battery. They've lost twice in their last 4 games. Also drawn twice in that span. Hundel trying to pull away from Lasso. Plays into the middle for Endo. James. Boscovich. Telfer. Boscovich. Tainter. Played through for Camargo. Frazier, a little bit long, trying to find McCrary, but gets a round of applause of support from Jason Bent anyway, to indicate that was the right idea, that was the play he wanted to see. Not a bad play to just get that ball deep into the opponent's territory when you're defending a 1-goal lead. Camargo runs that down, and now Telfer, some open space for the Toronto native. Product of York University, 10 minutes drive here from the Ontario Soccer Centre. This is out for a Charleston throw. Frazier. Up for Endo. Endo indicating to Hundle that he wanted him to run towards the corner to his left, and Hundle was instead just running straight ahead. And they did not connect on the pass. Frazier lets that fall. Wasn't able to get a gauge of it as it was coming down. Toronto still in possession. Camargo not able to run forward. May have gotten an arm across there. Looked like he had an opportunity to run forward. Now here's Endo. Endo with some space. Has Hundle to his right. Endo stops up, playing in, looking for Camargo, who's just a half step behind. This comes high in the air, and Cooper has to grab it. Like a center fielder settling under a fly ball. Now here's Garbanzo with an opportunity, and Julian Dunn has to get back and forces it out for a corner. Long ball played forward, and it falls right to Garbanzo, similar to how Endo was able to play it for Hundle. And a good clearance by Dunn. That's headed forward by Lasso. There's a strike. Come on! Cavaluzzo makes the save! Ricky Garbanzo with a strike, and Angelo Cavaluzzo read it perfectly. Knocked it over for another corner. This one curled in, comes down to Garbanzo again. Pressured by McCrary, and again Cavaluzzo there to make the save. This one more direct at him, and he will hold it and slow down the pace here as we are under 10 minutes to go. The third and final substitution will be Donte Campbell, and it looks like he will be coming in, I believe, for Jordan McCrary. Like for like, as that right wing position that Campbell has played here with TFC2. And we're gonna get the substitution here now. It will be Campbell in for McCrary. Campbell to throw, and with under 8 minutes to go here, we'll likely see some of those patented time-wasting tactics from Toronto, but it does look like they're still interested in adding a second goal. They're not falling on their heels defensively too much. And will Charleston be able to capitalize on that? It's played forward for, looking for Higashi. It comes down to Campbell, and he will clear it away from Garbanzo. Van Schaik to throw. Plays in for Garbanzo. Back to Van Schaik. Higashi. Portillo. Portillo has a go at goal. Takes a hop right into the mitts of Cavaluzzo. Charleston player down on the pitch in some discomfort. Charleston does not have any substitutions remaining. Trying to make out who that is. Might be Anunga. No, I see him in the middle of the field. It's Quentin Griffith, number 11. Well, we've got a moment. Let's get one more look at that Angelo Cavalluzzo game-saving stop. Game-saving for the moment, I should say. Takes a deflection there. Comes down to Garbanzo. And a great read from Cavalluzzo diving to his left. Gets his arms outstretched. Quentin Griffith looks to be in considerable discomfort, and he is walking down towards the end line, walking in a route that you would take if he was going to come back to the bench. Does not appear to just be walking this off. It looks like it's his left leg, perhaps a hamstring or a quad muscle. Again, Charleston with no substitutes available. They have made all three. If it is a significant injury to Quentin Griffith, we'll show you Griffith very quickly. There he is, very gingerly walking, not putting a lot of pressure on that left leg. If he cannot continue, Charleston will have to finish this game with 10 men, and what a boon that will be for Toronto. Dunn, able to win that away from Cordovas, but it gives it away to Van Schaik. And here's Cordovas, defended by Dunn, trying to get it back to Cordovas. And that's Endo who runs it down. Tanner lofts that forward. Will it stay in? It does, takes a hop off the turf. Campbell goes over the top and able to win it. And now Campbell working 1v1 against Lasso, trying to play it to himself, but Lasso was in a good defensive position, an open stance, was able to turn quickly. Griffith continues to walk towards the bench, does not look like he will be returning to the pitch anytime soon. And we are inside the final 4 minutes here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Will Toronto be able to use this advantage and find an insurance marker? Significant that it's a man lost for Charleston, but also a defensive player. So if Toronto wants to add that second goal, it's a defensive player missing for Charleston, and one who had been playing quite well, the left back, Quentin Griffith. Griffith is back to the bench. He's now sitting on the bench. And with 3 minutes left, plus whatever time added on, not sure the trainer will be able to work any kind of magic to get him back onto the pitch. So Charleston will press on with 10 men. Here's Higashi. Higashi plays for Cordovas. It's a scrambled play and it's cleared by Telfer. Comes down to Lasso. Hundle runs right into Lasso. And it's a throw in for the visitors. Quickly taken, here's Cordovas. Watched closely by the captain, Mitch Tanner. Freed up for Campbell, and Campbell will just send this down the pitch. Lasso and Mueller, essentially a back two at this point. Griffith, the right back, is injured, and the left back is Van Schaik, who appears to have been pushed forward into a more midfield position. So with the 10 men available, it looks like it's a 2-5-2 type formation. This is played out. Will be a Charleston throw. 90 seconds, less than 90 seconds plus added time. I'll try and peek over the fourth official's shoulder. I did see a number 4 flash on his screen. So it looks like it will be 4 minutes of added time. We still have 1 minute to go until we get to that. Campbell pushes forward, Hundle. Smart play there, leaves it for Endo. Endo across for Telfer. Telfer runs into some trouble there. There's a good back pressure of Rittmeyer, and Anunga snuffs out that attack. But a good ball played by Endo. Across the pitch, looking to find Telfer. If he'd been able to deliver it perfectly, Telfer might have been able to just run forward with a breakaway and possibly an opportunity to add to the lead. It's now official, 4 minutes of added time. Toronto has 4 more minutes to defend. They do have the advantage of being up a man. Charleston reduced to 10 men by virtue of injury and no available substitutes. I should say no available substitutions. They do have players on the bench, but not able to use them. Endo makes a push in the back from Portillo, wins the free kick. This will allow Toronto an opportunity to milk the clock. Will be Mitch Tanner, very deliberately walking over to the spot where the free kick will be taken. Plays forward for Hundle. Camargo trying to find Endo. Endo just able to keep it in, but it took a roll off the turf and out for the throw. That would have been crucial for Toronto. If Endo could have kept that in there, maybe get it into the corner. Kill some time that way, but they've won a throw deep in their own territory. And I think we're going to see a yellow card here for time wasting to Julian Dunn. Ball played forward, comes down for Cordovas. Cordovas muscled off the ball momentarily by Frazier, but able to get it back. Chorus of boos come from the crowd as the yellow card for Julian Dunn is announced. Endo trying to play forward for Hundle. Hundle maybe cheating a little bit, getting in behind Forrest Lasso, but Lasso was there to send it back forward for the Battery. Anunga, there's a strike from Cordovas, not very powerful, and Cavalluzzo handles it easily. Just over a minute remaining of the 4 added. Cavalluzzo sends this down the pitch. Mueller pushes forward. Tainter is there on the volley to send it right back. It falls in between the 2 defenders. Lasso will have to send it back for Cooper as Hundle was in the area looking for an opportunity. Long ball played forward. Boscovich, Camargo, Tainter pushes this up for Endo. It's a very bright sun up there against the blue sky. The players will have to look into when trying to field some of these high balls in the air. Higashi, Rittmeyer, defended there by James. Comes to Portillo, Lofted in. There's an opportunity. Cordova is not able to finish. Cavalluzzo grabs it, and that might be the last opportunity of the afternoon for the Battery. Free kick given here to the Battery, and this may be the final play of the game. Everybody pushed forward with the exception of Taylor Mueller, who will loft it in. Everybody for Toronto is back. Mueller sends it forward. Cavalluzzo punches it, and it's in! And the referee has waved it off. It is a foul. I thought he might be signaling that it was a good goal. Cavalluzzo down in pain on the turf. Was there a foul there from the Charleston player? Let's get another look. I'm not totally sure there was anything on Cavalluzzo there. Cavalluzzo goes up to punch it. I think it goes off of his hand. I don't see any contact made with Cavalluzzo by the Charleston players. It looked like Cavalluzzo just ran into the back of his own players. Perhaps our netcam GoPro will shed some light. He comes out, slow it down as much as possible. Still looks like it's the last touch by him, and the injury might be when he falls to the turf. It was Tainter who was closest for Toronto. Didn't catch who was closest there for Charleston. Cavalluzzo is still down in significant pain. And we'll have to wait until after the game when I speak to Jason Bent to see what explanation, if any, was given. Cavalluzzo's holding the small of his back, his lower back. That would certainly match up with the type of injury that you would get if he landed right on it. Might have one more look here. We can slow down this angle here as much as possible. He definitely, he punches it. He's going over the back of Rittmeyer, and maybe Rittmeyer makes contact with him as he goes up. Cavalluzzo maybe coming over, we couldn't tell there if he was coming over the top or if Cavalluzzo was just straight up and Rittmeyer was straight up. But that is it. It was the last play of the game. It was very nearly a dramatic equalizer for the Battery. But it's 3 points for Toronto. They snap the losing streak at 3. It is their 4th victory of the season, their 3rd at home. They move to 3-3 as hosts. Charleston falls to 10-5-7. It is now 6 consecutive games without a victory for the Charleston Battery, and they will feel the Charlotte Independents just 1 point back, breathing down their necks, and Charlotte is here. Score from Toronto is a 1-0 victory for the hosts at the Ontario Soccer Centre. It was dramatic at the end, but Toronto FC2 will be able to send their fans home happy after the thrill of a 1-0 defeat, or a 1-0 victory, I should say. A defeat of the Charleston Battery, who for the moment remain in first place in the USL's Eastern Conference. Let's take a look at our full-time stats board of this afternoon's match. Toronto had just 2 shots in each half, 4 total, 2 shots on target in the second half, 1 of them from Hundle, finding the back of the net. 5 shots on target for the Battery. The possession about the same as it was at half, 57% down to 56 for Charleston. 1 yellow card apiece, and a thoroughly entertaining match here this afternoon. There is the man of the hour, the man of the match. It's Sean Hundle. He collects his first goal of the season just a week after being named number 4 on the USL's top 20 under 20 list. Opportunities abound for the Charleston Battery in the first half. They were unable to beat Angelo Cavalluzzo in the second half, and they will head home without any points, a 6-game winless streak. Toronto back in the win column. They'll be back in action at BMO Field on Wednesday. We'll see you then. For everyone, thanks for watching. Have an excellent Saturday night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.